Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jules with a very different type of video. So Yenpress announced a bunch of new mangas and light novels that they're printing for the month of September. I don't know if they're all out this month, but they were all announced this month, and it's a pretty big, interesting list. So basically what we're doing this video is I'm just going to look over the Yenpress webpage and just read the synopsis of every single book. There's a lot of Final Fantasy, so for the Final Fantasy fans out there that watch my videos, you're going to enjoy this because I know I will. So I am on the Yenpress website. Let's see releases. Okay, so this was last updated yesterday actually. So these are for digital releases. I don't care much for digital, but you guys might. So there's a new chapter for Black Butler, chapter 168. Read the next chapter of Black Butler at the same time as Japan. It is now available on digital platforms. I should probably read Black Butler because it's really popular, and I had watched the first 2 episodes maybe 7 years ago and I never continued. I don't know why. I probably should. So there's another manga called Death Mount Death Play. Chapter 54. Read the next chapter of Death Mount Death Play at the same time as Japan. Now available on digital platforms. So I'm guessing you're all going to say the exact same thing, but I'll just read through it just in case you guys want to check it out. So there's the Royal Tutor. Ooh, chapter 95. Read the next chapter of the Royal Tutor at the same as Japan. Chapter 95. Yenpress presents Final Fantasy. Okay, guys. Final Fantasy is my bae. So I'm going to read this shit. So this has been quite the year for Final Fantasy. Yeah, it has, especially since Final Fantasy 16 got announced. Oh my god. With the long-awaited release of the Final Fantasy 7 remake and an announcement of Final Fantasy 16, there has been quite a lot to get fans of the iconic JRPG series hyped. Keep the hype going with some great Final Fantasy books from Yenpress. Final Fantasy 7 on the way to a smile. This is actually on my wish list for Indigo. Indigo has a wish list. Indigo, I think it's only Canada, but there's a wish list. It's in there. I'm gonna eventually get it. I have to because it's Final Fantasy. I love Final Fantasy. And 7 is like top my favorite. The apocalypse is over, but the journey is only beginning. The world may not have ended after the meteor fell, but life has forever changed for the survivors of the cataclysm. Mako is no longer a viable source of energy, and an incurable new disease is spreading amid the societal upheaval. But even when brought face to face with grief, regret, and despair, people will find a way to pave their own path to the future, to stand tall and live. This collection of short stories serves as an epilogue to one of the most beloved installments of the hit Final Fantasy video game series, as well as a prequel to the cinematic follow-up Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, a must-own for enthusiasts and newcomers alike. Advent Children is really well made. I don't know how many times I watched it. I have like a collector's edition. It came with like a book and photo cards, and it's so good. Final Fantasy VII, the lore of it is just chef's kiss. That's all I can say. Final Fantasy VII, The Kids Are Alright, a Turk's side story. I thought my place in the world was gone, but the world is so much bigger than I ever realized. Evan Townsend is just one of the many who lost everything during the meteor fall 2 years ago, and like the others, he has had to rebuild his life. In his case, this means working for Morel's Investigative Services, a small company that tracks down missing friends and family. But when a case of mistaken identity drags him into a run-in with the Shinra Company's intimidating administrative research department, better known as the Turks, Evan and his fellow investigator Kairi Kainan begin a journey to discover the truth about both the world around them and themselves. And the truth they uncover may run deeper than they expect. Experience another side of the world of Final Fantasy VII with a prequel to Advent Children. I didn't know there was a prequel to the story. I did hear about this. I don't know if it's a reprint or just a brand new print. A Turk's side story, of course, I'm probably going to end up reading it at some point. Not anytime soon. Just because it's related to 7. And I probably butchered names, guys, because I have like a huge lisp. And because I speak French too, so like I kind of read them in French in my head. Just the names because they sound French to me. Anyways, sorry. So there's Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3 Memory of Heroes. I've never played the originals. I have the first one on PSP, which my brother had gotten for me, and I never got around to actually playing it. My bad. When darkness veils the world, light and darkness hold the world in balance, and should that equilibrium ever break, only the four warriors chosen by the crystals can prevent inevitable ruin. This is the story of 3 times the balance shifted and the 3 bands of friends who came together to save the world. See where it all began with the novel adaptation of the 3 stories from the classical Final Fantasy series, penned in celebration of its 25th anniversary. What I find funny is that I know the music for almost every Final Fantasy game, and I have not played every Final Fantasy game. I basically played Crisis Core 7, 15, I played a bit of 14, played a bit of 8, and I think that's it. I feel like there's a game I'm missing. Final Fantasy 13, Episode 0, Promise. Before destiny was decided, in the futuristic city of Cocoon, all the needs of the people are taken care of by the godlike Fal'Cie. The only threat to their comfortable lives is the world of Pulse below, ruled by its own Fal'Cie with their own intentions. And should trouble ever arise, the Fal'Cie sometimes choose humans to do their bidding, and life will never be the same for these people marked by fate. Before the unlikely heroes of Final Fantasy 13 band together, each had their own story to tell. This series is short story chronicles the last few days before their encounter with Fal'Cie, providing a deeper look at the characters of the hit game. I never played 13. I did have it because my boyfriend played it, and I watched it. I watched part of the gameplay, and it was good. It looked good, and it was super pretty, but I never played it. I don't know why. Final Fantasy 13-2, Fragments Before, After the Fall. Sarah remembers everything from the day Cocoon fell. She remembers waking up from her long sleep and learning the truth of the crystal pillar that saved everyone. Most of all, she remembers her joyful reunion with Snow and Lightning and setting out on a journey with the 2 she loves most at her side. So why isn't that how it happened? Don't miss this short story collection bringing the gaps between Final Fantasy 13 and its sequel. Final Fantasy 13-2, Fragments After. After fate was changed and changed again, with temporal distortions and paradoxes threatening the very future of humanity, Sarah and Noel have begun a journey through time itself to make things right. Their efforts have altered the course of history several times over, but they couldn't have done it all alone. Each step of the way, friends, family, and loved ones were supporting them sometimes in ways they couldn't see. This collection of short stories tells the other side of Final Fantasy 13 too, bringing together the different eras of the hit game. I can't really put much input since I haven't played 13. Final Fantasy Lost Stranger. Square Enix employee Shogo Sasaki has a big dream to produce his very own Final Fantasy game with his sister Yuko. But after the siblings are involved in a truck accident, they awaken to realize they've left their world behind, fallen into the world of Final Fantasy. After coming to grips with the situation, they meet some new friends, join a party, and accept their fate as adventurers. But when danger approaches, Shogo will discover that this encyclopedia knowledge of the games can only take him so far. So this is basically an isekai. And if you know what an isekai is, my favorite isekai is Sao, Sword Art Online. And it ends there. I mean, Re:Zero is good. It is really good. But I'm the weirdo who likes Sword Art Online more. Sorry, guys. Final Fantasy Type 0. The cadets of Academia's Class 0 are legends, with strength and magic unrivaled, and Crimson Cape symbolizes the great vermilion bird of the Dominion. But will their elite training be enough to keep them alive when a war breaks out and the Class 0 cadets find themselves at the front and center of a bloody political battlefield? This looks like a manga. I'm not sure if it actually is. Final Fantasy Type 0 side story. Before commanding Class 0 of the elite Magic Academia, before a bloody tragedy unfolded before his eyes, Kurasame was simply an Agito cadet of Class 3. Thus begins the tale of a legend of a boy who would become one of the 4 champions of Rubrum, of the man who would become feared as the Ice Ripper. That sounds kind of cool. Also a game I have not played. And we are finally in the manga section. This is what I'm excited for. So this was posted September 8th. And I had looked through the list real quick. I haven't actually read anything before I started recording this video because I really wanted to record this and make a video of it because I thought it would be something interesting and very different for my channel. In what little of September we've gone through, we've made a lot of exciting announcements. Hands down, one of the biggest has to be the return of Haruhi Suzumiya, with the intuition of Haruhi Suzumiya. Information and pre-order links to the highly anticipated light novel will be available in the near future. But for the time being, here's info on the other exciting announcements that we made. So Haruhi Suzumiya is not something I've read or watched. I think there's a movie or a show. I'm not completely certain, but I know it's very, very popular. And a lot of people were excited on Twitter over this announcement. Eight Alive light novel. Shido Itsuka has a problem. The world has been racked by massive quakes of an unknown source for years now. Though life goes on, then one day Shido's calm life ends forever when, in the middle of a quake in his city, he meets a girl who's apparently a spirit and the cause of all the destruction. Okay. When a team arrives to eliminate the threat, Shido becomes embroiled in a war to protect these spirits by making them fall in love with him? Actually sounds kind of cute. I haven't seen Dead Alive. I know it's also an anime. I think it's on Crunchyroll. I've passed right by it when I would scroll. But if that's a synopsis, it sounds really, really interesting. Days on Fest. When high schooler Kanade Sora takes her classmate Otoha Yamana to their first rock festival, the experience is greater than they can even imagine. It's a new life of rocking out. Do you like the nerdy nurse? The beauty in the nurse's office is a secret nerd who doesn't hide it very well. Nijiko Momoyama is the new appointed school nurse, but beneath her gorgeous facade lies an unspeakable life for all things geeky. I'm hoping that deep down she's a Fujoshi, because that would make things a whole lot more interesting. I will not reach you. The differences between Yamato and Kakeru couldn't be more obvious. Yamato gets good grades, while Kakeru's are less than average. And while Yamato is very attractive, Kakeru's looks are perfectly average. Not a problem unless you're in love with your childhood best friend. How in the world can Kakeru make Yamato look at him when Yamato is completely out of his league? Okay. Fujoshis rejoice! This sounds awesome. It sounds super cute, super mild as well, but you can't help but hope for, like, you know? I'm gonna look into this. This is probably gonna be something I'm going to end up reading because it sounds nice and it's yaoi. It's boy love, like. So this is gonna be cool. ID invaded. #break broken. When Sakaido wakes up in a strange room next to a dead girl, there are only two things he knows for sure. 1, he's a brilliant detective, and 2, he has to solve the mystery of Kairu's death. What surprises await the brilliant detective in this strange new world? That sounds interesting. It's obviously messed up that he wakes up and there's a dead girl right next to him, because it means he could also be a culprit. And the art style looks cold. Like, look at this. It's completely one color behind him. His scarf is just flying up, and he's just not a blank stare, but it's like he's just staring, like, huh, you know? I like this. I'm gonna look into this too. Love and Heart. University freshman Yagisawa has a lot on her plate. But the last thing she expected to add was a surprise male roommate. Handsome Haruma claims to be a childhood friend, but for some reason, Yagisawa doesn't remember him at all, and his history isn't the only oddly disturbing things begin to happen. And Yagisawa may really be in over her head. Alrighty, look at his face. This guy's messed up. You can just tell by his face. And how he, like, the way he holds her and tries to, like, hide her eye. He's fishy and possessive, I think, what I'm trying to think of. I think the word is what I'm looking for, is possessive. I think this sounds interesting. Definitely something I'm going to look into. Penguin Gentleman. Okay, so this, when I first saw the art on Twitter and Yenpress had tweeted about it, I was like, I have to read this because they're fucking penguins. It's so cute. And the guy's actually pretty good looking. And I think it might be a BL, I'm not entirely sure. Let me read this for you. In a certain secret bar, the penguin gentlemen work wearing their long-tailed tuxedos. You see, it's cute how penguins waddle around? We're not just cute, we're dandy, sexy, and marvelous. So I feel like this might also be a bit like The Way of the Housewoodsman, just the way that the manga is written. So it's gonna be like different little short stories for every little chapter. I think it's gonna be that type of manga. I'm very excited for this. Play cool, guys. Enter a bunch of cool guys who look like they got that unapproachable swag. But let's be real, that's not the true them. They're just a bunch of dorks who've got the act down pat. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy watching a bunch of goofy guys try to look cool all day, every day. This sounds really funny. Because they legit looks like they're trying to be cool, except for like, maybe this kid, or what is he doing? It looks like he's putting eye drops in his eye. And he's just like, I just want to get this day over with. Like, he's cute. He's really cute. I'm gonna look into this. I'm kind of looking into every single book on this thing. I love Yenpress. They print out a lot of great books. The Girl Without a Face. Her boyfriend thinks she's the cutest girl around, but expression can be a bit hard to read. I think the problem solved, guys. She has no face. And the title is The Girl Without a Face. But he loves her, so go her. Virgin Road. The lost ones are wanderers who come here from a distant world known as Japan. No one knows how or why they leave their homes. The only thing that is certain is that they bring disaster and calamity. The duty of exterminating them without remorse falls to Menu, a young executioner. When she meets Akari, it seems like just another job, until she discovers it's impossible to kill this girl. And when Menu begins to search for a way to defeat this immortality, Akari is more than happy to tag along. So begins a journey that will change Menu forever. I mean, I'm not my thing. I mean, she's cute, and I'm not entirely sure what she's doing. It looks like she's lying down or trying to listen to the ground or something. Not something I'm gonna be looking into. And then at the bottom you just have like a sample of Overlord. I heard the anime is really good. Never watched it. My boyfriend watched it, and not my thing. Sounds interesting because of this girl, but So basically that's everything on Yenpress. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's very different. Like I said, I'm trying to branch out a bit and see what is I like doing, what is it you guys enjoy watching. So that is it. Those are all the books that Yenpress announced for September. There's a lot of Final Fantasy, a lot of other random mangas that I think look really interesting. I can't wait for these to actually be out. I don't know if they're all out now or if they're going to just be out soon, but the list is pretty exciting. And if you want to support mangakas in Japan and want to support these books getting translated into English, I would suggest buying these books because it means that more Japanese light novels or mangas will get translated into English if they see that there's a massive demand for it. So I have a big collection of mangas and I have some light novels, and this is my way of supporting. Same thing as to why I have Crunchyroll and Funimation, so that I could watch anime and support the industry. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's very different. Let me know if you want me to do this again next month. I'm pretty sure Yenpress does these synopsis every single month, and they announce what books are going to be coming out. So if you like this, click the like button if you'd like to subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The link will be down at the bottom. Thanks for watching. Bye!